Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe back again here for your AEW Rampage review for October 15th, 2021. By the way, if the screen uh, open of the video looks a bit strange, I printed both back to back on same page, so it may look a little funny, but nonetheless, the review nonetheless should be fine. So, with AEW, or actually with WWE, adding an extra half hour to SmackDown, it bled into the first half hour for AEW and SmackDown. So I guess you could say, even though SmackDown was on Fox Sports, that they were going head to head for a half hour. But we had great buy in. Never thought I'd say that, at least not for a while. We had a great buy in for the Rampage show, which get into first before I get into the main show. But what a match between Bryan Danielson and Minoru Suzuki, which really capped off the buy-in, and then getting into the main show, which is okay, but nothing really special. CM Punk match was good, but still, we also got a very good show for tomorrow night for Dynamite. But thank you for joining me. If you're new to podcasts and you want to see more, click that subscribe, as well as if you like this video, click that like button. But after that long intro, let's get into a review, shall we? So, first off, the buy-in. So, we had 3 matches for the buy-in. Start off with Ty Conti versus Santana Garrett. Ty Conti, we know, is a contender in the women's division, but she's been kind of saddling with these so-and-so feuds, particularly with the Bunny and Penelope Ford. Here she welcomes back Santana Garrett, who has not been on AEW television in a long time, but good to see her back. She can definitely add to a. She's a good piece to the women's division, and with the TBS title being introduced, she could definitely help to that mid card of the women's division. So, nothing much here. Of course, we know they can both good wrestlers, but D-Ty by Ty Conti for the win. Pretty simple. Um, Ty Conti is actually number 2, they said, in the rankings of the women's division. And, they brung up. See, I imagine, because Thunder Rosa is probably going to face Jade Cargill at Full Gear. That's my assumption. If not, sometime either next month or in December. But my envisionment is that happens, and then Britt Baker faces Thunder Rosa at Revolution. Now, we need a filler opponent for Britt Baker to face at Full Gear. until we get to Thunder Rosa. And, Ty Conti, I mean, she's number 2. She's rounding off wins. I know it wouldn't be a great challenge, but it's kind of an opponent to get Britt Baker to the inevitable, which is Thunder Rosa. So then, after that, we got Lee Moriarty, who I have not seen. First, I thought it was Lee Johnson, but nope. He probably's been on Dark, but not familiar with him. Against Bobby Fish. Now, Bobby Fish, we know, is now signed officially to AEW. We know he made his debut versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship last week. But here he gets his first win in AEW, and this wasn't a bad match. Fish is a veteran. He can go with mostly anyone. He took a big stomp to the face by Lee for a near fall. But Fish hit a roundhouse kick, followed with a Saito suplex for a 2 count. Lee then followed up with a arm in belly to belly. And then which had to have sucked. The finish the match came when Fish hit a exploder suplex on Lee in the ropes and followed up with a buzzsaw kick for the win by Fish. And he gets his first win gearing towards tomorrow night when Fish faces off against Bryan Danielson on Dynamite, which should be interesting. And then we get to the main event of the buy-in. And what a fiscal affair this was. Bryan Danielson versus Minoru Suzuki. This, they showed it. They have not wrestled in a very long time. And Bryan Danielson here, he wanted to work New Japan wrestlers as a part of his deal, and we know he wants to wrestle in AEW. This was just awesome. Just awesome. Both guys beating the shit out of each other. Just brutal exchanges, but ultimately made for a very fun match. We know Suzuki's style. He's stiff. He likes to make everything into a fight. Really. You're gonna have scars when you wake up the next morning after a match with Minoru Suzuki. So, it looked like Bryan was marking out internally, but trying to hold it back, knowing that he's been waiting for a match like this, and he definitely got it. So, it was a boatload of chain wrestling to start for the first few minutes. And then The action really picked up when they got into these brutal exchanges. You know, so Bryan started off with a European uppercut, and then Suzuki followed up with some chops to Bryan's chest, which, you know, looked like raw hamburger meat afterwards. I mean, the redness on his chest. And then Suzuki took some hard kicks to his chest. I mean, that Suzuki's one tough son of a gun. Not much you can say. And then Suzuki laid out Bryan with a stiff forearm to the jaw, which laid him out. So then that fired up Bryan, followed up with some kicks in the corner, backed up Suzuki. And then Suzuki went for a triangle, or might have been a cross arm breaker off the top rope or in between the ropes. And then they were exchanging on the outside. Suzuki was sent to the ring post. Big knee by Bryan off the apron. Bryan then went for the cow mutilation, but Suzuki rolled through and wound up being a pin attempt for a near fall. Then Suzuki landed some soccer style kicks to the chest of Bryan, which Bryan was just egging him on, asking for more. And then one kick which kept Bryan down for a near fall. Then, so Bryce Rensburg, who was the referee, he was getting into it looked like with Suzuki, and then Suzuki backed away Rensburg from the action, and then, like a gentleman, he tidied up the vest of, you know, Rensburg. I mean, classy, but he's also sick in the sense that he'll take punishment. So, back again, they were exchanging in the middle of the ring. Stiff forearms, kicks, slapped each other in the face, and then both were on the ground. And then, after some exchanges off the ropes, Bryan hit a big running knee strike for the pin. 1, 2, 3 on Suzuki. And what a match. What a match. I mean, was a treat for the buy-in. The freaking buy-in. And this was crazy match. I hope we see more of this. I mean, you know, both we know are some of the best in the world. And this was just, couldn't put into words. Just wow. So, then we get into the main show after that craziness. So we get to CM Punk versus Matt Sydal right off the bat. A very good match in its own right as well. But after that great Danielson and Suzuki match, now again, it was the buy-in. It was on YouTube. So it was probably mixed emotions for people coming in this match, but for those in the audience, it had to be very interesting coming off that match, coming to here. But very good match. They know it how it's been over 10 years since these two last faced off against each other. Punk and Sydal. So brutal spot came when Punk body slammed Sydal on the apron, and Sydal sold it well, but at the same time it had to hurt like hell. And I mean, all of them landed on the apron, not just one body part, so had to have sucked. And then in A Guerrero style, Punk landed a senton on Sydal, come back into the ring. Then they were exchanging, and a brutal high knee by Sydal caught Punk for a near fall. Then Punk got the advantage back, hit the rising knee in the corner, followed up a short clothesline for a 2 count. Then Punk looked to go to the top rope, but Sydal landed a Hurricanrana, launching Punk off the top rope for a 2 count. Then Sydal hit a roundhouse kick to the back of Punk's head, followed with lightning spiral for a near fall. And then Sydal went for the air Sydal off the top rope. Punk had scouted. And then Sydal went for a crucifix, but Punk countered, muscled him up, and hit the go sleep on Sydal for the win. Fun match and good open to Rampage. I mean, seeing it live again after some number of weeks was a good feeling. Good feeling. Because just the energy of it being live, I don't mind it when it's taped. It's just a different feeling from the crowd and everything. But here being live just definitely added an element to it. So then we have Ruby Soho versus the Bunny. Ruby's music, the more you listen to it, the more you could get a kick out of it. It's just great song, stellar music for Ruby Soho out of anyone to have for AEW. So this was so and so, but big spot happened when Ruby hit the Bunny with Alley with a flatliner on the outside, which both were laid out from for a bit. Then back in the ring, So hit a big forearm to the back of the head of Bunny for a 2 count. And then the Bunny got the advantage back, went for the rabbit hole finisher, but Solo countered into a high backslide and pinned the Bunny 1, 2, 3. And guess who win? Ruby Soho stays on the well. Besides Britt Baker, stays keep winning in AEW. So stellar win. Um, and she's another contender for. I mean, she already lost to Britt Baker in New York, but she could definitely be a contender for the TBS title in the women's division. So then we get to the main event. A little bit of note. So, of course, tomorrow we got the bracket for the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament announced. We got Malachi Black versus Dante Martin. We got the Lucha Brothers defending their AAA tag team titles against a tag team of Andrade's choice. So yeah, some good matches lined up. And then next week, Andrade versus Pac 2 next week. So that's going to be fun to look forward to. Um, and also, AW, I assume because the playoffs for baseball or basketball, whichever, but Dynamite will once again be preempted next week. So, same schedule as this week. But yeah, so pretty much. Now we get to the main event. So we got the Inner Circle, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Chris Jericho, versus the Men of the Year, Scorpio Sky, and Ethan Page, and Junior Dos Santos making his AEW debut and ring debut. I'll be honest, he kind of looked like Sagat from Street Fighter, to be honest. Just with the shorts and the tape around his fists. Looked like Sagat from Street Fighter, to be honest. For a bit, but the match was okay. You know, Junior Dos Santos didn't overstay his welcome in this match. Um, did what he needed to do. Um, it's just with American Top Team being injected into this feud, it's really kind of a head scratcher. And with the news of Tony Khan leaking accidentally the full gear match card, I can kind of see where this is going now after the show. But so mostly it was a beatdown on Jericho for most of the match. And then Sammy got a hot tag from Jericho. His springboard cutter on Sky with a Spanish fly to Ethan Page. Dropped Dos Santos from the apron. Hit a running shooting star on Sky for a near fall. Hager and Dos Santos, of course, two big guys. The two guys who know well of MMA because of Hager's time in MMA and Bellator. They were on the outside, and Hager, he slammed Dos Santos into the timekeeper's table on the outside, which took both of them out for the rest of the match. Jericho hit a lionsault for a near fall. And then, so Jericho and Scorpio Sky, they were exchanging. And Jericho locked in the walls of Jericho on Sky. But then Paige Van Zandt, she got up on the ring apron, distracted Aubrey Edwards, who, I mean, pretty simple. And then Jorge Masvidal, who you kind of had a feeling they were going to it after the exchange earlier in the match. But Jorge Masvidal, with the referee distracted, runs in the ring, hits his running knee strike to the face of Jericho, knocks him down. Masvidal flees, and then Sky pins Jericho for the win. The Man of the Year in Dos Santos gets his first W in AEW. So there's that, and then after that, it was more of a beatdown by the American Top Team guys on the Inner Circle, and then Santana and Ortiz's music plays. They run out, make the save, and American Top Team flees, and the Inner Circle it's fully intact in the middle ring, and I would say it's gonna happen. It seems like it's gonna happen. The Inner Circle, 5-on-5, Inner Circle versus Men of the Year and American Top Team. Seem like it's gonna happen at Full Gear. Question is under what circumstances will it be? Because I don't think it's gonna be blood and guts. Could be an elimination match. I'm not sure. It's just if it's gonna be a 5-on-5, should be good circumstances, not just a regular 5-on-5 tag team match, because that'll be a cluster of time. So just have to see, but that's how Rampage went off the air. Solid show. Of course, when we add the buy-in, it was just great watching 2 hours, 2 hours, because it's weird because Rampage is 1 hour. So when you add the buy-in, it made a cool 2 hours of Rampage. But that's the review, guys. Solid review. There's a bug on my wall, which I'm going to kill after this review. But nonetheless, thank you guys. Again, if you're new, click that subscribe. And if you like this video, click that like button as well. But thank you. I'll be back tomorrow or Sunday with my AEW Dynamite review. So thank you. Be safe. Peace.